Suppose you were playing with your favorite action figure and suddenly it slipped from your hands, fell on the ground and break into two pieces. Oh, how sad you will be. You will wish somehow the pieces would join and it will again become same as before. Now imagine this. The two pieces of the action figure which are lying on the ground, which are not complete but part of one complete action figure, magically convert into two action figures. How cool it would be. Initially, you had one broken Batman, but now you have two Batmen. Wouldn't life be easier and much better if this happened in reality? But so sad, it does not happen in reality, not with the action figures for sure, but it happens in some organisms. You will be surprised that the process which I have discussed above actually happens in some organism and it is named as regeneration. In this process, what happens is that the organism breaks into pieces and each piece grows into a full organism, which means more the number of pieces, more the number of organisms. So we can define regeneration as the process in which a new full organism is formed from the body part of organism. So let's understand the regeneration process by taking the example of Planaria. Now here we have a Planaria, which is a flatworm found in freshwater and slow running streams. Now if I cut this Planaria into three pieces, so here we have three separate pieces of Planaria. Slowly these three pieces will start regenerating themselves and ultimately grow in three Planaria worms. So initially we had one Planaria worm, it broke into three pieces and we got three Planaria worms. This is how regeneration takes place. Now the similar process occurs in Hydra also. Now let us move a step ahead and try to understand what actually happens in the regeneration process or what happens at the cellular level. So the property of regeneration is shown by organisms is basically due to the presence of typical type of cells or specialized cells. Now what happens here is that these cells or these specialized cells divides to form large number of cells. So here you can see large number of cells are created. But creation of large number of cells is not enough. Each cell in the organism is not same. So the specialized cells which have divided to form a large number of cells change themselves and modify to form the cell of the missing body part. So these changes are not in random fashion but are in much organized manner and the sequence they follow is called as development. Similar to the regeneration we saw here, regeneration also happens in complex organisms like lizards and starfish. But the power of regeneration is limited here. For example, the regeneration in lizards happens only in the tail. Now there must be a question coming to your mind that what is the difference between fragmentation and regeneration? Both are similar in many ways except the fact in fragmentation the organism breaks itself when it matures, but in regeneration it does not break itself or get cut by itself. It needs an external agent. Now, normally any organism will not solely depend on being cut to reproduce. So the question arises how the organism will reproduce and which other method it can follow. And one such method is budding. The budding also occurs through regenerative cells. So let's understand the process. Now we know about Hydra. In Hydra, the reproduction mainly occurs by budding. So you can see here a Hydra and this Hydra has a small outgrowth structure or the bulging structure which you can see here. Now these bulging structures are formed due to multiple division of the cells. This small outgrowth due to multiple cell division is known as bud. Now what happens next is that this slowly and gradually starts to grow into small Hydra and forms mouth and tentacles. So now you can see a small Hydra developing from a parent Hydra and it will gradually detach itself. So we have seen how a new Hydra is formed from a parent Hydra. Now there must be a question coming to your mind that what is the difference between budding and fission that we have seen in our previous video. The first difference is that Fission occurs in unicellular organisms and budding occurs in multicellular organisms. The second and the most important difference between budding and fission is that in fission, two daughter cells are formed from the parent cell, or the parent cells get converted into the daughter cells, which means that the identity of the parent is lost. But in budding, the identity of the parent is not lost and it remains as it is, which means a new organism is formed without affecting the identity of the parent. Now the similar process of budding occurs in the yeast also. Here you can see the diagram of budding process in yeast. Initially it has a bud and the nucleus of the yeast divides into two parts. One of the part moves into the bud and the bud detaches itself to form a new yeast cell. So in this video we have seen what is regeneration and budding, how they occur and in which organism they take place. In the next video, we are going to see the vegetative propagation, which is another type of asexual reproduction which occurs in plant.